entire thing to be hysterical. It lets you know that they're afraid. I think the word dangerous was especially interesting. What's so dangerous about a black woman believing that she can do it without government handouts? What's so dangerous about a black woman that's promoting independence of thought in the black community? Why do they have a vested interest in black people remaining dependent on their narrative is the real question. So that was the adjective that stood out the most to me.
Esther.
Exactly. I'm still trying to figure it out. There seems to be no bottom to all of the names that leftists come out with. I saw an article literally ran that called me a loser. That's what I say when I say that these tactics are elementary. They don't upset me. They don't deter me. If anything, they encourage me, and it has an adverse effect. More people are able to find me and to research and to realize that the media is lying about my message. And then they get to ask themselves that important question. Why? Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures, okay? I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history. You're not living through anything right now. You're overly privileged American. Truth is that the left wants to strap black people to this idea that they are victims. That's what it comes down to. They do not want black people focused on their futures. They want black people focused on their past. They like black people to be government dependent. They don't like to see black people that are free thinkers and are independent. And I think that's what Kanye West and myself represent. This is a tremendous time to be alive as a black American. We've been existing under this facade, these lies the Democrats have orchestrated, because they consider us a low information voter market, you know, and they think we're not going to research the stats and we'll never find out.
I hate the race card. It's played every election year.
Every 4 years, the Democrats rally to get the African American vote, and we give it to them because, well, Republicans are racist, right? We usher them straight into the White House, where they immediately forget about all of the promises that they made to us.
For so long, they have told us that because there was a black president, this meant progress. Progress is not a skin tone. Progress is a number, okay? And for so long, we've been convinced, look, he's taking a photo op with Beyonce and Jay-Z. That means absolutely nothing. Chicago got worse while Obama was in office, and he came from there. It's just the truth. It's what I've been preaching about long before Kanye wrote this 7-word tweet that broke the internet, is that they enslaved our bodies, the Democratic Party.
What Hillary says is not what the Democratic Party says. Those two things are not necessarily connected, even though Republicans
I find that to be
want
really
to be.
disingenuous for you to stand up there as a black American and defend the Democratic Party when we understand that over the last 60 years, they have completely decimated our communities. That is not an opinion. That is a matter of a
ridiculous.
fact. Single motherhood is up 71%.
That is not a fact.
That is 100% a fact that single
fact.
motherhood is up 71% since the 1960s. We also see that in every major area, urban areas where you guys have a stronghold, our communities are decimated, okay? We have high crime rates. We have black people dying and killing one another. So I find your entire platform here to be completely disingenuous, okay? Donald Trump represents the very first opportunity for black Americans to jump off of this ideological slave ship that is the Democratic Party. And quite frankly, you should be ashamed that you're over here laughing at what our community is going through. I won't put up with that. That's ridiculous.
I'm laughing at your lies.
Those aren't lies. Those are facts. Facts are not lies, Jamu.
So, did anybody know that the VMAs were on a couple of Sundays ago? Yeah, no, me neither. My name is Candace Owens, and you are watching my vlog series, The Myth of the Coon. Apparently, the 2017 Video Music Awards premiered, and viewership has reached a historic low. Ratings dropped off by nearly 50%, and leftist media cannot determine why that might be. I mean, it's like, why don't people want to watch sparkly celebrities anymore? They're so entertaining and funny.
Have fun tonight. Nice dress, by the way. Is that an Ivanka?
And I do want to say that I've been very vocal for my support for everyone besides Donald Trump. I heavily supported Hillary. That in her lifetime, she deserves to be the first female president.
I know for a woman, as a woman, it feels so sexist. I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House. Sorry, I hate fucking crying on camera, but...
I hate crying on camera too. Oh, celebrities. It kind of makes you miss the days when they would jump on stage, thank the man upstairs and their mom and dad too, right? Here's the thing, famous ladies and gents. Nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares what you think. We don't care what you think. I watched the VMAs to see whether or not Miley Cyrus's hair has grown back, or how close they're gonna sit Britney Spears next to Justin Timberlake still, because there's still a little drama there, I think. I do not watch award shows to see what happens when little toddlers first hear the word no. Award shows have become a gross spectacle of rich kids that literally live in gated communities and do not touch their own car door handles, telling me what I have to #resist. No thank you. Not exactly my idea of a relaxing Sunday night. Special shout out to the celebs that don't even go here.
Adele isn't shy about who she wants as the next US president.
No, really, thank you, Adele. Because it is so incredibly meaningful when someone here on a tourist visa tells me,
Sorry, I hate fucking crying on camera, but...
Because nothing says out of touch quite like showing up to somebody else's country and telling them how to cast a ballot. Which is why J.K. Rowling's Twitter feed holds a special place in my heart. Thank you, J.K., for using that powerful voice of yours to draw attention to meaningless issues like whether or not Donald Trump actually shook someone's hand at the White House. If I may make a suggestion, maybe with your newfound interest in politics, you might want to dedicate a 7-part series novel to the victims of Westminster, of Manchester, or London Bridge, Borough Market, or do you only specialize in fiction? I'm sorry, is that too soon? Because in our country, keyword our, we like to refer to that as too late. We like to refer to that as what happens when a bunch of spineless politicians and celebrities tell us that we need to be more concerned with Melania Trump's shoes than with the real live threat of radical Islam. So keep crying, celebrities, because nobody gives a damn. I'd like to wrap this up, the life hack to the powers that be at award shows. If it's election 2020 that you're trying to sway, maybe stop appealing so hard for prepubescent tweens. They can't vote yet. If you guys like these videos, please consider donating to my patreon.com account. As you know, YouTube is cracking down on conservative voices and we are unable to monitor.
It's a total and utter departure from reality, which we see often on the left. That's what it comes down to. But Joy Behar, I mean, she really has over time become unhinged with this unhealthy obsession to correlate Trump to these, as you mentioned, dictators and people that have murdered people within their own countries. And I don't understand it, but I don't know. I feel like it's almost time to stage an intervention over there. What we're looking at over there is it's the extreme left. I mean, that's what we're seeing that's starting to take shape. They actually believe the things that they're saying, and what it really is, it's just an unhealthy obsession with Donald Trump, and there's nobody that is more unhealthy and more obsessed with Donald Trump than Joy Behar. Monolithic thinking, and that's what I've always been punching back against, because at the end of the day, it doesn't always even make sense. What you bring up doesn't make sense to me when you say he needs to have some more black faces. That means nothing. We saw that with President Obama. He had every black artist in the White House for photo ops, and at the end of the day, Chicago was worse off after 8 years of Obama in office. So I don't need to see a black face. I need to see black results. I mean, I find it insulting to me that people say, well, let me pander and let you know we've got Beyonce and Jay-Z on stage, so I'm with her. No, I'm not with her. Her husband locked up more black men than any president in the history of the United States. So you're exactly right. I find that to be always an uphill challenge to say to somebody, I've researched.
No, Clinton.
Bill Clinton. Yeah, her husband. Hillary's
No, but
husband.
that's true. The statistics, former prosecutor, I'll tell you can see that in terms of the number and a record level of incarcerations of black Americans. So, you know, there's points to be made here with specific facts to support all of these, these theories of people saying, wait a second, what's going on in this country that all of a sudden there's a groupthink that's trying to pollute your mind, that doesn't respect someone's individuality or, you know, freedom of thought or expression.
Right, and that's what I always say is the truth is that the Democratic Party views us as low information voters. That's why they give us Beyonce and Jay-Z. They don't think we're going to go research the stats, that we're monitoring that sort of a thing. That's why when Hillary Clinton was on these black hip-hop shows, she was talking about having hot sauce in her bag. Don't talk to me about hot sauce in your bag. You know, talk to me about the issues that are facing our community. So I'm greatly insulted by the fact, by people, Geraldo, you saying that, oh, well, there should be just more black faces. No, there needs to be more black conversation.
I think he was right on the money. I think what we're seeing happening is essentially what happened with me. Black people are starting to wake up and understand that the Democrats have done nothing for them ever. really historically, they are the ones that brought us the KKK and racial terrorism, slavery, Jim Crow laws, and then we see in the 1960s, they introduced the Great Society Act, which gave us the welfare system. So what Charles is doing is he's waking up, and he's not fully on the conservative side yet, but I think that's what's going to come up next. I think that he needs to understand that Trump actually represents a very real opportunity for the black community to wake up, and it starts with the death of political correctness. I don't really care about Trump's tweets. I care about the results, and the results are in. Okay, black unemployment is at a historic low right now, and that's because of the work of Trump focusing on our economy and not so much about our feelings, which has been traditionally what the Democrats have hijacked, our emotions.
You've been called every name in the book after that Kanye West tweet.
Yeah, in about 10 seconds, I became a KKK member, anti-LGBT, I mean, you name it, just because I think differently, and I refuse to accept this narrative that I'm a victim. I'm not a victim. We told them that they were welcome to get in line and ask any questions, but they refused to do that. They wanted to just heckle. We were there to talk about capitalism and free markets, not really that controversial, and they were up and they were screaming, F the police, as we had police sitting in the back. So I took them on because I believe that their ideas are poisonous. I also believe that they're intellectually dishonest or intellectually lazy, depending on what you want to take a pick at. Because the truth is, the numbers are in, okay? Police brutality is not an issue that is facing the black community whatsoever. The truth is that the left wants to strap black people to this idea that they are victims. That's what it comes down to. They do not want black people focused on their futures. They want black people focused on their past. They like black people to be government dependent. They don't like to see black people that are free thinkers and are independent. And I think that's what Kanye West and myself represent to the black community, and that makes them very nervous. There is no value in being a victim. There is no value in being oppressed. There is only value in looking forward toward the future, and that is what I preach and what I practice every single day, and what I'm trying to wake up the black community to understand. For too long, we have been used by pawns, and Black Lives Matter is an example of that. They are pawns to the Democratic Party that go out and ruin their lives for something that they don't even understand, and which is fundamentally false. If you look at things historically, Kanye West has really represented the battering ram against political correctness. Long before Donald Trump came down the escalator, Kanye West was public enemy number one for simply trying to tell the truth to people about things that were going on. So I'm unsurprised that, he supports me and my ideas and me just thinking freely.
In terms of where you take this forward, what would you like to say to Kanye West?
I would just like to thank him. It was a moment that I will never forget. I was extremely emotional, and it was an affirmation that I needed to go forward. So just thank you, Kanye West. Yeah, and like I always say, challenge yourself to consider the inverse. Challenge yourself to consider if they banned Taylor Swift's music because she supports Obama. It's saddening and it's disheartening to me that this is the reaction that he's getting from people that once loved him because he doesn't think the way that they want him to think. His mind is not his own. This is why I call this ideological slavery, because that's exactly what it is. They only enjoy you to the extent that you celebrate their own ideas.
Interesting. I want to jump now because we don't have that much time. There is a mural of Trump on a Chula Vista school wall that is sparks controversy. Do we have a photo of that? Okay, I guess it's so bad we're not going to show it. All right, so this is outside a school with an image showing an attack on the President of the United States.
You know, it's unacceptable, but I don't blame the students. I don't blame the parents. I don't blame the artists. I blame the media. I blame the celebrities for making people think this is acceptable behavior. Every award show we watch, they're mocking the president. We have songs that are coming out that are mocking the president. We have Snoop Dogg releasing albums that show the president dead, where he's pretending to shoot the president. What do you expect the response to be when they're watching people that they idolize say that this sort of behavior is okay? Of course, it's going to start to take place on a more molecular level, and that's exactly what's happening here.
Peace.
There's an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures, okay? I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed.